The Commoner Call tournament was last weekend here in Portland, Oregon, and today we're joined by Matthew Fritz to run down his Ice Lexi list. Matthew spent the day at or near the top tables, even logged a couple of games on camera. So he's here today to talk to us about his event and walk us through his list. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there folks, welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Did you you had fun? You did pretty well. It was good to see you last weekend, so.
Yeah, the Commoner Crawls, both of them have been awesome times. So
yeah. So the question I have for you to come out of the gates, why Lexi? What made you? Because you were on Viscerai for the first one, so why Lexi for the second one?
I've been using these events as an opportunity to play heroes I haven't before, outside of just getting to know them on Felt Table. I was building some Oldhim stuff, and I had surplus ice cards, and I had I just had it. It was available, so I decided to go for it. I kind of like the idea of using offense as your defense. It's philosophy. It's something that I enjoy playing, and I kind of like the puzzle of how many arrows is enough, how many fuse cards is enough. What else can you add to make it work?
Sure, fair enough. All right, well, let's go into your tournament. So round one, we have you on camera, actually, against Adam playing Briar. So how did that match? And he was playing, like, Go Wide Briar, I believe, right?
Yes, I was playing against Adam on his Briar. That was a very close game. I had a few turns that really disrupted him. So it went Ice Reveal into a dominated hamstring shot, which gave him the frostbite and then added an additional tax on his first attack. So that saved me getting, instead of getting, what would have been a much bigger turn was obviously reduced. I don't remember, but I don't think he thorned that turn because I was getting ready to pop gloves, or they reduced the damage enough where I could pop gloves and not worry about taking lethal for a couple turns. So yeah, that one I ended with a Razored Heaven's Claws. So I did, when we go through the tech, I'll add that I added some non-arrow attacks to kind of get around the dreaded non-arrow hand. Round two was against Fi, and I was surprised this was the only Fi I saw on the day. And it was the same story, Red Polar Blast from Arsenal. He decided to not pay 3, and then I dominated a Chilling Ice Vein, and he had to pay that, and then I was able to Arsenal a Lightning Surge and go wide the next turn, and from there I was able to keep tempo. Round 3 was against Viscerai, and this wasn't the Viscerai list I played last time. This was more like the Arcane Rising days. Big pump, free big attack, and the combination of the cost reduction from Rune Chance and the just the amount of blues he had, I wasn't able to keep up with the mixed damage. It was a close game, but in the end, the Runeys and Rosetta got me. Then round 4 was against Prism. I was a little worried about this because just dominated Pummel Tenacity would ruin my day. I didn't bring any armor that can block. This deck very much relies on its equipment to extend its turns, and subbing out equipment for things for Arcane Barrier or blocking just that wasn't in the cards. So I luckily drew one of my 2 poppers early and was able to keep was able to just lock out one of his turns, and then just I put out more pressure. I was just more efficient than they were. They really need Luminars. I almost want to, yeah. And then the last round was against Boost Dash. I made probably against Archer, and Archer is a good player, so not taking away from his well-earned victory. But I took more damage. I took a lot of damage for a poor payoff, and then I just couldn't recover. I just didn't think, with all the two blots in here, fatiguing Boost Dash just isn't possible between the gloves and the payloads and the throttles. It's not going to happen. So, and I know just with one blue invest in the first fist, they can throttle payloads. So you can't keep up with plays like that. Then you pop boots and come in with the pistol. But yeah, so that was the day. I think the card that made the biggest impact in all of my games, I thought it was going to be Chilling Ice Vein, because whenever I played against Lexi, that card has been the bane of my existence. But it was actually Hamstring Shot. Hamstring Shot really, in addition with the ice tats, having them kind of it stats frostbites if you think about it. You give them a frostbite, and then you hit them with something that adds an additional cost. So you have they have to pay one. So basically, like a Ravenous Rebel now, you have to pitch a yellow to play it, if that's what you want to lead with. Or if you're on your Kassai, for example, you want to sharpen steel, you have to pay for that. And then now you have to pay an extra 2 for the first Saber swing. And then that makes it so that, okay, I can take this because I know nothing's coming after it, and I have a much stronger hand. Also, the cards like Polar Blast, Red Polar Blast was also did very well for me. Pay 3 or dominate, give you a frostbite. It allows me to add an extra damage with the shiver.
Yeah, fair enough. So you're really just trying to punch through a couple hits or a couple points of damage and then land a frostbite or two, and controlling that method, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and I'll just run down your list real quick. So you're running Shiver for equipment. You are running the Blossom of Spring, the new chest piece, which is really good. The bracers, the Honing Hood, Mark of Lightning, which is good, and Snappies. For reds, we have Chilling Ice Vein, Dazzling Crescendo, the lightning there, Hamstring Shot, Heaven's Claws, really good, 1 for 5, blocks for 3. Icy Encounter red, that's your Prism Popper right there. I guess that's not a Prism Popper anymore, but that's your popper right there, I assume. Lightning, because Icy Encounter is 2 for 6, right? I believe, yes. We have Nimbleism, we have Polar Blast, Razor Reflex, Searing Shot, just one of those. We have 2 Sleep Darts, and then Winter's Bite. Chilling Ice Vein yellow, Hamstring 1 copy of Hamstring yellow, 1 copy of Razor yellow. You are running the Amulet, Chilling Ice Vein, single Cold Snap, 2 Blue Claws, 2 Polar Blasts, 2 Searing Shots, and 2 Winter's Bites. So talk to me first, some of the one-ofs. How did you land on those?
Yeah, so the one-ofs would be the 1 Razor Reflex yellow and the 1 Hamstring Shot. So in a deck like this, I wanted to reduce my 2 blots as much as possible. I really wanted to push damage and extend my turns, but it's not Voltaire, so I can only activate Shiver once. So +2 to force an on hit is good enough, but the 2 block in this deck was just too much to get around. I wanted another arrow, and at that point I was considering adding Blizzard Bolt in yellow, but I just didn't feel like it was strong enough. And Frazzle was another candidate, but the fuse wasn't consistent enough. So that was cut. Hamstring Shot, just based off the limited testing I did before, seemed to be the most disruptive of the generic arrows for this. Um, yeah, so that's why I just wanted a third. I could see a case for dropping the last razor and
Mm-hmm.
adding a second copy of Yellow Hamstring.
Mm-hmm. And then,
But the yellow razor surprises a lot of people. They expect the reds, they don't expect the yellow.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The Searing Shot, I was surprised only one of those because that's a pretty good arrow.
It is. I just um, it was just one of those cards that I felt I the payoff was fine, but I would to extend the turn I would need boots. So when I was considering the zero cost arrows, it's between this Pathing Helix, which isn't terrible,
Mm-hmm.
um, which and Dazzling Crescendo, which is already in here, and I felt like that arrow was the go again into whatever you used to fuse it with was stronger. A Searing Shot would be a good finisher, so that's why it's just the one of. And so I decided to, if you see it early, because you can extend the games, it's a pretty fast format, but it's just kind of there as like a late game closer. Um, Nimbleism dominate that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's just, and the other thing is just it's just damage. I played a lot of brute, and so whenever I see a card and it's just damage, I just feel like would rather have an on hit or something that can extend my turn.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So, any changes? You said, well, it looks like you've got the blue and the red claws in there. So, are there any changes you would make after having run this if you're going to run this again?
I would probably change the blue claws to yellows. I didn't find myself star for pitch, especially with the polar blast in here. I would also consider instead of the red searing shot, adding Sikkim shot red just for more go again. I've also considered instead of that razor slot adding polar blast yellow. I just like the trying to tats them as much or winners bite yellow to add more tats. I'm leaning towards polar blast because you just draw more cards and you get to your threats faster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other changes, oh, one, I would drop one Amulet of Ice for another Cold Snap. So the reason Cold Snap is a one of is because I only had the one when I
Oh, okay.
slapped it together. I would, yeah, I think, it's another one of those cards you play it from Arsenal. It gives them a frostbite and you draw. So that's much stronger than the amulet. Because once the amulet's out, whenever you send one of these to them, they're just going to pitch a blue, and they're going to have two floating for the amulet. It's amulet isn't the worst card, but I think Cold Snap is much stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And then other. So right now we're at 16 arrows, and I think that has felt pretty good because you have the honing hood. You can do things like Arsenal Lightning Surge or Arsenal Heaven's Claws,
Mm-hmm.
and say this was a game ending. This was a game ender that I had. I had a Heaven's Claws in Arsenal. Um, Lightning Surge, Icy Encounter, and a blue in hand. So I Lexied the ability to reveal the Heaven's Claws to get go again. I popped Hood to put the Lightning Surge into Arsenal. And then with the blue that had go again, I threw the Icy Encounter at them. Sits, if it hits, you get a Frostbite. And then followed that up with the Lightning Surge from Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah, the on hit is why it's in here over Winter's Bite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Winter's Bite, Winter's Grasp.
Mm-hmm.
And then played the Lightning Surge from Arsenal and followed that up with the Heaven's Claws, and that was
6,
that's how I
4,
closed out the
5.
Prism game. Was just
It's pretty good.
Honing Hood is a very good piece of equipment. I like it for it just enables those wide turns a little bit better than your I felt it enabled more wide turns than the snappies, because you can reveal the Heaven's Claws. Instead of sending that, you can load an arrow. Say it's a Dazzling Crescendo, or not Dazzling Crescendo. You can load an arrow, shoot it off with Go Again, then load another arrow. Say it's the Dazzling Crescendo, fuse it with the Heaven's Claws, and then throw the Heaven's Claws at them. So Honing Hood was definitely the MVP as far as the equipment went. I know a lot of these budget Lexi builds are running Vest of the First Fist, which definitely is a very good piece of equipment. I like the Blossom of Spring because it's free. It's just on demand. So if say you had a big turn and you lock them out, and now you have 4 cards and a Polar Blast in Arsenal, I would say you could pop that, play the reveal the Polar Blast, then play it, and now you have a 5-card hand to just go ape with, which was, which felt good when you got that to happen. So yeah, 16 arrows. I'm at 13 ice. That feels good. 5 of these utility cards. So that's the 2 Nimbleisms, the 2 Red Razors, and the 1 yellow. Yeah, the yellow razor is definitely, you can chop that, I think, for another lightning card, or another ice card that I feel, like a yellow Electrify, more Go Again, draw from Arsenal, or if you, that's something I'm still tinkering with. And then the 6 lightning fuse cards, which are all attack actions. So your lightning surges, I definitely wouldn't touch that. That kind of, it's a very strong card. 0 for 4. Go Again. Heaven's Claws red. That's definitely staying. And then the blue. I think we're at the. I think the curve is at the point where it could tolerate the yellows, which would be a little bit more punch. I think I had like 13 blues in there, which feels like a little bit too much. But
yeah, it's 13. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, blue Heaven's Claws is kind of like Lexi go to a lot of the time, right, with the block. But yeah, fair enough. All right, cool. Well, anything else you want to add on this before we wrap up?
let's see. No, I actually just wanted to give a shout out to Travis and Sean for putting together the Commoner Crawl. It's been great. A lot of people have been showing up. It's been fun. With just playing with commons, and really just testing your abilities as a player and as a deck builder, and just seeing what finding some unique synergies. I don't think like maybe if you are looking to play Lexi in Blitz, I'm not saying it's going to take down a skirmish or anything, but if you ran, I definitely see space for Honing Hood, in budget lists. It can definitely enable some of those big plays. I think, like some of these draw from Arsenal cards, I wouldn't, I definitely would have preferred Icequake over the Red Polar Blast, but just, I do think that there's a place in lists, and I think, even as someone who is looking to build Oldhim, in Blitz he doesn't have Crown of Seeds anymore, but in Constructed, just that idea of, you threw a big attack at them, they have to block out. You didn't need to use Crown, but you have something that's going to let you draw and send attacks at them. I just feel like Polar Blast was always a card that it's good, but doesn't really hit the table as much. So that's another card I think did better than I was expecting.
Yeah, okay. Well, fair enough. Yeah, and great shout out to Sean and Travis. It's been a great event. The next one's coming up on August 7th, I think. That's the Sunday. It's like the first weekend in August, which is right after the skirmish at Gongai. So come check that out as well. So anyway, thanks, man, for taking time out of your evening. It's actually later than evening, but thank you. And you got to say it with me, man. Nothing else. Go Commando.
Go Commando.